Hey everyone, I'm Oliver Kovács, a Hungarian composer. This video lesson will cover the topic of composing with seventh chords. Seventh chords can add variety, color, and complexity to your compositions when regular triads aren't enough. To create more interesting chord progressions and compositions, I recommend studying this topic. This lesson includes everything you need to know about the topic, so let's dive in. Seventh chords are essentially chords with 4 notes. They are called seventh chords because the fourth note is a seventh interval above the root. In simple terms, adding a fourth note to a regular triad, a third above the highest note, will likely create a seventh chord. There are 9 types of seventh chords. The major seventh chord is a regular major triad with an added major seventh interval above the root. Its name comes from the major seventh interval and due to it's built on a major triad. The minor seventh chord, as the name suggests, is a regular minor triad with an added minor seventh interval above the root. The dominant seventh chord is a major triad with a minor seventh interval added above the root. The diminished seventh chord consists of a diminished triad with a diminished seventh interval above the root. It's essentially 3 stacked minor thirds on the root. The half-diminished seventh chord is a diminished triad with a minor seventh interval above the root. The diminished-major seventh chord is a diminished triad with a major seventh interval above the root. The minor major seventh chord is a minor triad with an added major seventh interval above the root. The minor refers to the triad and the major seventh refers to the interval. The augmented seventh chord is an augmented triad with an added minor seventh interval above the root. The augmented major seventh chord is an augmented triad with an added major seventh interval above the root. Finding the inversions of a seventh chord is relatively straightforward. The root position is the chord's natural form. In the first inversion, the third becomes the lowest note. To achieve this, move the root up an octave. For the second inversion, move the third up an octave, making the fifth the lowest note. Finally, for the third inversion, move the fifth up an octave, leaving the seventh as the lowest note. Remember, the number of inversions for a chord is always one less than the number of its notes, so seventh chords have 3 inversions. You can build chords on each degree of a scale or mode. If these chords contain only the notes of the scale or mode, they are called diatonic chords. If you are unfamiliar with the diatonic chord system, check out my video lesson on it. To build diatonic seventh chords, add seventh intervals relative to the root node of the diatonic triads in the selected scale or mode. Remember, you should use only the scales notes. Here are the diatonic sevenths in C major. I've created a simple, brief composition using seventh chords in E major. Let's check out the diatonic sevenths for E major. The chord progression isn't too complex making it ideal for demonstration purposes. It contains the following chords. The main melody is played by the oboe and doubled by the first violins. The second violins and violas provide accompaniment. The second violin play in two voices together with the clarinets, while the violas add harmonies. The bass is handled by the cellos and double bass is in octave doubling. Let's listen to the sections separately. When orchestrating seventh chords, it's crucial to include all the notes of the chord, especially the root and the seventh. Without the root or the seventh, the chord loses its character and becomes a regular triad. For example, a major seventh chord without the root is essentially a minor triad based on the third. Without the seventh, it's just a regular major triad. It's a good strategy to have the root note played by the bass instrument. In my composition, the third chord is on F sharp minus 7th. Its notes are F sharp, A, C sharp, E. In the score, I've included the E to maintain the 7th chord's identity. A couple of days ago, this channel reached 1000 subscribers. Thank you for your support. If you found this video lesson interesting and helpful, you can support me by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, subscribing, or even buying me a coffee. Thanks for watching.